How promising are the new Shonen Jump series? In the last month, Shonen Jump has introduced 3 new manga to its catalog. Those series are Underdoctor, Kinoto's Magic, and Alien Headbutt. I have been keeping up with these series, and Underdoctor has the most chapters with 5 so far. While I was reading these manga, I thought to myself, how long will these manga last? And am I wasting my time keeping up with them? Shonen Jump can be unpredictable, sometimes axing series that seem to be doing fine, like Kaidagami. The Shonen Jump community can also be a handful. Sometimes you have people who always say Shonen Jump is dead and nothing good comes out anymore, which is straight up a lie when we have series like Ichi the Witch, Kagurabachi, and JJK Modulo running right now. Sometimes it can be intimidating starting a new series when you don't know the outcome of it. So in this video, I'll be giving my extremely early predictions on these new series. Talk about how I feel about them so far, and you could decide if you want to pick them up or not if you haven't started them yet. Of course, I'll be trying my best to not spoil anything major in the plot, even though these series just started. With all that being said, let's start with the first series. Kinoto's Magic was a series that caught my eye first out the 3. So let's talk about that one first. The reason why this series caught my eye almost immediately is the art style and the colors. The art style reminded me of early My Hero Academia, which is pretty funny because I remember seeing people say the main character looks like a black-haired version of Deku. So what is Kinoto's Magic about? I'll give you a quick synopsis. The story follows a young boy named Kinoto. He's a mage that lives in a country town. He helps out his grandma's clinic as they aid people with Seitei magic. In Shonen Jump fashion, Kinoto always wanted to be an adventurer, but 2 things are holding him back. He works at the clinic, and he has a low self-esteem. He has a childhood friend named Lene, and she steers Kinoto in the right direction. As a character, Lene feels like the typical supportive but hard-on-you friend in the series. She's also kind of sneaky, like if you can't read her sometimes. My first time reading chapter 1, she reminded me of Nami. A group of adventurers arrive in Kinoto's town, and they actually are looking for him, since he's the only mage in the town. They claim they need someone like Kinoto to help them slay a dragon in the southwestern forest. He tells the adventurers he'll think about it, but if you can read his body language, it seemed like a no. Kinoto was thinking that he would just slow down the party since he has no real experience fighting, but Lene put him in the right direction, telling him to follow his dreams because he would just essentially waste his life if he doesn't follow his dreams and let it die. He gains confidence to tell his grandma that he's going to help them and meets up with the adventurers. Unfortunately, the so-called adventurers were bandits and kidnapped Kinoto so they could sell him for some money. After being tossed into a cave, he meets a character named Jien, the captain of the Iron Fangs, which is actually an adventurers guild. Jien's character fits the goofy but extremely powerful archetype, an archetype that is common and shown in manga. A modern example of this type of character would be Gojo. I know someone's really interested hearing me say that. Kinoto breaks both of them out with Seitei magic, and we see Jien's power in action. He destroys the bandits with ease. But do you guys remember that dragon that the bandits lied about? Well, actually, it really did exist. And now Kinoto and Jien have to defeat the dragon by themselves. Jien is the only one fighting the dragon at first, and then we see Kinoto's grandma talking to Lene, stating that if Kinoto takes off his restrictions, probably a more mental restriction, he can be pretty formidable in battle. We see Kinoto use his support magic offensively, and he defeats the dragon with 1 blow. Of course, Jien sees potential in Kinoto and asks him to join his guild. Kinoto accepts, so now we have Kinoto, Jien, and Lene. They're going to start their own adventures together, and they head off to go to Jien's guild at the end of the very first chapter. My 2 takeaways when I first read the first chapter were that the humor of the series reminded me of early fairy tale, and the story so far felt pretty generic. That was a common opinion I saw when the series first came out. But I'm pretty optimistic with this series. I think the characters are likable enough for the story to go far. Jien's goofy personality and Kinoto's strategic and level-headedness work really well together. Another thing I think this series has going for it is Kinoto's magic in general. The way that he strategizes and uses it in a more tactical way in battle, I think that could take the series pretty far. I wonder if they will focus more on the strategy aspect of his power, or maybe he will realize his magic is greater than it seems, like how his grandmother says, and he becomes really OP. Either way, I think the series is actually promising. I like the world a lot so far, the characters are charming, and the art style is really nice. I can see the series running for a while. If you like a classic guild or fantasy manga, I think this series will be great for you. The next series I want to talk about is Alien Headbutt, created by Akira Inoue. They have created multiple one-shots, Monkey Punk, Sandstorm, Berators, Two Bounce, and French of the Dead. This mangaka has a good sized resume, so that could be a good sign for this series. But let me give you guys a quick synopsis. The story follows Oga Shurikiba, and he always dreamed of being a pro wrestler, but he tries to put his dream to the side to provide for his family, telling his mom that when he graduates from middle school, he'll become a fisherman on their small island. Which makes sense since he has 4 younger siblings he helps watch because his mom is a single mother. His father unfortunately passed away, so staying with the family seems like the most realistic thing to do. Especially financially, fisherman seems like a more stable job, and he'd have to risk leaving his island and his family to go to Tokyo to have a chance at becoming a pro wrestler. But his family secretly buys him a plane ticket to Tokyo to pursue his dreams, and they already submitted his resume to wrestling companies, so now he's forced to go. Oga was so determined to become a pro wrestler that he decided to go no contact with his family, no matter how long it took, and he couldn't head back home until he came back with the world champion belt. Pretty early into the chapter, he completed all of that. As a newcomer, he beat the world champion and the belt was his. For the first time in 5 years, he can return home, keep his promise of showing up and hoping his family is now proud of him. He returns to his island, but it's nothing like he remembers. Cars are flipped over in the middle of the street, and when he tries to call his family, the whole island has no signal. Some alien resembling a humanoid bug attacks Oga, and he has to fight for his life. Oga barely beats the alien, but the alien leaves a parting gift as it injects something into Oga's chest. That pretty much covers up the first chapter in the story. My main takeaways from this chapter was how fast paced it was and how strong Oga is and how he fights. First, let's talk about the pacing. At first, I was thrown off by how fast we get to see Oga reach his goal of becoming the world champion, but then I realized the goal of becoming the world champion is not the focus of the story. Yes, Oga becoming the world champion and his goal will be important to his character and the way that he fights, but so far it seems like the story is more focusing on the apocalyptic world Oga is going to have to face to reach his family. Speaking on the way Oga fights, by the way, you can tell the story is going to have some really badass scenes where you would be questioning if Oga is even human. Even before he was injected with the alien, whatever is in the system, he already seemed like he wasn't human, so I'm guessing whatever was injected in him is going to give him a boost in power. There's already been a few moments where I'm kind of thinking this guy is not human. I'm not going to spoil it, but it has something to do with a headbutt. Overall, I think this story's strongest points would be the fights and the mystery of what happened to the island. I can't speak too much about the characters since we still haven't seen a lot, but I hope they really go into the mystery aspect of this story. Like a Siren kind of story if you guys ever read that manga before. Honestly, I could see this manga going either way. So far though, I am enjoying it quite a bit, so hopefully it could thrive and last a while. The next series is personally my favorite out of the 3, and it's called Underdoctor. You already know the drill, let's talk about the synopsis. In Underdoctor, we are following a character named Haiju Kino. By the title, you can tell Haiju is a doctor. He is on a flight headed to Tokyo when things on the flight take an interesting turn. A man on the flight's stomach starts hurting really bad to the point he claims that he can't move, and they are looking for a doctor. Luckily, they have a doctor on the flight named Dr. Ishiguro. He's from one of the top hospitals in Tokyo. Dr. Ishiguro diagnosed the patient, but Haiju shows up anyways to take a look at the patient as well. With a single look, Haiju was able to confirm that Dr. Ishiguro was correct, and Haiju used a pressure point to relieve all the pain. Haiju explains to Dr. Ishiguro that he can see every human vital point in a form of light, a gift that he was granted since he was born. He can see the strong points in a body and also their weak points. It took him 12 years to master his skills of telling exactly what's wrong with someone by looking at the pressure points, so he could help people without fatally hurting them. Shortly after, we figured out the patient had food poisoning. There are hijackers on the plane and they attack Haiju and Dr. Ishiguro. Haiju confronts the hijackers and defeats all of them swiftly, moving at speeds that the normal eye can't see. His fighting style is really cool to me. Haiju mainly fights by focusing on people's pressure points and immobilizing them without killing, which makes sense because he's a doctor at the end of the day and he doesn't want to take nobody's life, doesn't matter how scummy they are as a person. We see a small flashback of a younger Haiju and his father. His father seems to be a legendary assassin and he wanted Haiju to be the same way, but Haiju refused. So Haiju has assassin level training, but he chose the life of a doctor. After Haiju saved everyone on the plane, he has to leave since his identity has to stay hidden. So he jumped out the plane midair with a parachute and he falls asleep while he's landing because he's always sleep deprived. For me, Underdoctor has the best first chapter out of the 3. I think the series has the most potential if done right. If you read this series, you get Sakamoto Day vibes, which is a good thing in my opinion. People loved Sakamoto Days because how badass the fights are. I personally like series that are over the top because I'm always excited for the next fight and what crazy situation the MC will be put in. Also like the characters the most in this series. Even a minor character like Dr. Ishiguro had a good relationship with Haiju, even though they spent little time together. I won't get into spoilers of course, but there's another character that I think Haiju has a great relationship with. I think if you like series like Sakamoto Days, Shinobi, Undercover, or Spy Family, you should check this series out. I personally think this series can thrive and it will last a while. Well, these are all 3 of the series that came out recently, and overall, I like this batch a lot. I think it has a lot of solid entries to Shonen Jump. Let me know if you guys started any of these series before this video or if any of them piqued your interest. Let me know down below which one did. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.